Hey guys, it's LG Shaft. Thanks for tuning in. We are going to be going into some really awesome casts for you guys today. I'm not going to spoil the roster just yet, but I do want to tell you guys I just got back from MLG Raleigh, and boy, was it amazing. Guys, there was everybody that was anybody. They were there. Just on a personal note, I got to hang out with EG Machine for like an hour. I mean, dude, this was an amazing event. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and launch into this first game. We're going to be looking at two games, actually, two of a series. But don't really want to spoil any results. So we're going to just go ahead and launch right on into this game. Actually, looks like we are having a little bit of technical difficulties. What is up? What is up? That's not cool. Alrighty, we'll just go ahead and fix this screen region real quick. Booyah. And scroll you right on over here, and then you go all the way down. Of course, let's go ahead and get that fixed as well. Alright. Okay, so sorry about that, guys. Welcome back, and we're going to go ahead and get this game started. Speed on through the beginning a little bit, but here on the right-hand side of Metropolis, we've got the blue Azurgi McFerguson. His name is AZUBUViolet. And his opponent here on the bottom side of that same map in the red trunks playing Terran, it's STBomber. Now, a little bit about Blue. He was actually at MLG Raleigh, and I was able to get a picture with him as well as Team Dust. I was staying at the Clarion with Dust. It was a really awesome trip. We played a lot of poker, in fact, there at the end of each night. And, yeah. But Violet was really awesome. We spoke to him for probably about 15-20 minutes just on his take of the games and what he feels like the metagame is like right now. Okay, we've got the Terran scouting. We do have that fast hatch coming out for Violet. He's going for a little bit of an early extractor, so we don't expect to see third base anytime in the near future. He will be getting metabolic boost, probably pulling guys off gas if that's more about the wing speed than anything else, one would assume. He's got his queens coming along as well. Now, Bomber has two gas up. He's got the one racks, and he's got his expansion on the way. So, more than likely, we're going to see some kind of Banshee play out of Bomber. Bomber has really excellent Banshee micro, at least notable in the GSL, on more than one occasion. And there's the metabolic boost from Violet, as well as pulling off his guys from Extractor. That will allow him to get more minerals out quicker, and thus more drones, or even a third base if he wanted. Now, this SCV was checking just to make sure that third base wasn't started yet, but the Wings are going to hunt that down and rip it to shreds. Three Marines are moving out onto the field, though. They may intercept this SCV, and that could push Lings back. The Wings are going to be forced to retreat, one of them going down. Really nice play there by Bomber, saving that SCV. Okay, so we've got another SCV being sent out onto the map, and the way it is rallied, yep, he's still worried about that third base going up. More than likely, he's trying to hit some kind of timing, and if that third base goes up, his opponent will be more vulnerable to that timing. Now, Violet could be doing some kind of all-in, but building this third and his desire to build this third shows that he is actually going for the macro game, and thus Bomber goes ahead and builds that engineering bay, which is going to force Violet to build some units or delay that third. And here's the units we were just talking about. Going to go ahead and kill that SCV and surround the engineering bay to force it cancel. Now, we've got a starport on the way for Bomber, as well as a tech lab on his barracks. Would not be a surprise to see a stem in the near future. Here's a tech lab on the starport, so there we go. Very first Banshee on the way, as well as Cloak. So Violet gonna have to have some spore crawlers or an overseer, else he's going to be super vulnerable to this. He does have the 2 evolution chambers, however, so it will only take a light scout to reveal Bomber's plan. The barracks being taken off this tech lab, so, not really sure what production building is going to be set there just yet, but we do have, okay, he's going to build something with this SCP. Nope, never mind. Okay, false alarm, guys. Sorry about that. Alright, take a look at the income tab. Both players sitting around 35, 36. Actually, that puts Bomber slightly ahead on economy as far as mules factor in. Delicious Coke Zero, guys. The dessert of a diabetic, I suppose. 6 Hellions and a Banshee, 7 Hellions now, going to be doing some pressure to these queens, but Spore Crawlers are up, so he will have the ability to retreat back. There's another queen here as well. Ling's doing a good job dodging these Hellions. However, this queen's taking a lot of damage. There's not enough energy for a transfuse, so he's going to be forced to pull that back. Cloaked Banshee now used up most of the energy on these queens, but these queens are about to get transfused here in the near future. There's not a lot they can do about his hatchery just yet. He's going to have to wait for these roaches or the repositioning on this Spore Crawler. Okay, Lings and Queens gonna go in. This may be a little bit risky though. These Lings are lining up there. Hellion's getting pretty good shots off, but he's not going to chase him in those mineral lines. That's going to make a huge difference. Yeah, the Queen is sacrificed to the Banshee gods. This Queen gets healed up, but there is no vision on this Banshee, but only 4 energy left, so... Lings are cleaning up the Hellions rather nicely. 1-1 upgrades are finishing up for the Lings now as well, so Hellions, until they get Blue Flame, will not be anywhere near as much a threat. Stim packs on the way, 1-1 upgrades for infantry. Marine tank seems to be the order of the day, reinforced with a little bit of medevac support. Here we see a macro hatch for Violet, as well as a weakened Banshee from Bomber. Take a look at the workers killed tab. Only 2 workers killed by Bomber, so this Banshee harass has not gone quite the way he would expect, yet he stayed on par as far as worker count goes with his opponent. He's a little bit oversaturated in his main, so he is going to need to get that 3rd in order to even the economy here in the near future. Pretty good creep spread from Violet. And with the style he's shown so far, which is this Ling, and well, he's getting Baneling speed now as well as Aspire, so Ling, Baneling, Muta, Violet is going to need that creep spread to get across the map a lot quicker. His units will rely completely on their movement speed to harass and annoy, both forcing the opponent to retreat in counterattacks on the natural, or force the opponent to go all in. However, these forces won't be the best in a direct engagement, so Violet is going to have to reinforce himself with a bunch of spine crawlers over the next couple of minutes in order to survive any kind of big push that may be coming his way. He does feel a little bit safe right now. He knows that Bomber has taken a 3rd, so that should delay any kind of push he may have, but at some point it will be coming. We have 8 Mutalisks in production, as well as 2-2 upgrades and Baneling speed. 12 drones on the way, as well as an infestation pit. So just a small token amount of Mutalisks. That's an interesting choice here by Violet. Usually players will make a lot more Mutalisks than that. He may just want to force turrets from his opponent, or be able to deny air superiority. Medevac drops won't be quite as powerful with just a small number of Mutalisks to defend your bases. Interesting to see this Roach Warren on the field. I suppose that's in case his opponent goes mech, but without Glial Reconstitution, that's kind of an iffy choice. But still really nice creep spread, and that is going to help these counterattacks so much when that time comes. Bomber still turtling a bit in his base, but that's really what he's going to have to do. He's making a bunch of orbital commands and hoping to really abuse the potential mules here in the later stages of this game. But that leaves Violet pretty much free to do whatever he wants, and he wants a hive He's about a third of the way through pathogen land, so he's going to have quite a few infestors on the way as well. Fourth base being taken now, so he's got 5 hatch production. That's going to be really awesome here for our blue Zerg. Finally, we have a push coming out now for Bomber. He is very, oh, no, he's actually pre-splitting and sieging up. He's creeping forward on the map, but not yet advancing far enough to call it a push, but we should see the leapfrogging start here in the next couple of minutes. Alright, so 7 infestors are on the way as this hive is finishing up. We've got gas on this 4th base already made, so there should be little doubt what Violet's intentions are here. He is definitely going to be going for Broodlords. He may use Ultras to kind of leapfrog him to Broodlords, but ultimately, this is such a gas-heavy build. There's only one thing he could seriously be contemplating. Alright, so Violet going to go ahead and scout this 4th base being taken by Bomber. And that's going to be easy peasy, no problem, as he's sitting on a huge force of lane baneling infestor. He's also got adrenal glands on the way, as well as 3/3 Ultralisk Cavern 2. He's making those spine collars we talked about, and oh my, this is going to really hurt Bomber if he gets caught out of position. If any tanks are unsieged, this is not going to look very good for Bomber, but right now he's looking alright. Siege tanks are in a decent position. Actually, Violet's going to have to pull back now that he's split the army in half. Marines are forced forward just a bit, and Stimpak is used. So that's going to be a lot of energy off of these medevacs. If nothing else, the lings he lost, well, he probably did enough damage in energy alone for that to be worth it. Alrighty, so we got a little bit of a poke here with the Ling Baneling Infestor putting up a little bit of Bomber supply, but Violet is actually behind 12 supply, yet he's pumping out these 7 Ultralisks with 26 more Lings on the way, so he's just kind of trying to trade these Lings for better units here in the near future. That's going to keep the tank count low for his opponent and ultimately lead to the downfall of this Terran player. He's going to have to be careful to keep these infestors alive, though, because this is really the backbone of this army. If the Ultralisks get to the Terran army, but there's no infestors to hold them in place, well, the Ultras can be kited infinitely. There is really little the Zerg can do without going through with their Ultralisks. Alright, we've got a smart pickup here by Bomber. It's going to be up to him whether he chooses to do a little bit of harassment here, or if he's just going to try to make his force look a little smaller than it is. Okay, here we go. The medevacs are being sent out now, and there will be an engagement here in the middle. This is actually really bad for Bomber. His tanks were out of position. Oh my god, those Ultralisks just ate through those tanks. The Marines are running away right into the safety of a tank. That tank is going to be sacrificial. However, this bunker is going to have 2 Marines sacrificed as well to the Ultralisk gods. These Ravens are kind of hiding in terror because there's very little they can do against Ultralisks either. Marines are just camped here. Bomber trying to keep them out of the engagement for the moment as he gets a couple more units onto the field. But infested Terrans are going down on the production of Bomber, and the Ultralisks are doing their job as well, cutting through the ranks of infantry that Bomber has filed in his natural. Tanks are sieged up here in the 3rd, so Violet going to be careful not to go down there without this proper amount of units. Instead, choosing to target down the natural and all the upgrade buildings therein. Now, a couple of command centers are being floated over to the main, taking advantage of the fact that Violet has little to no anti-air except for fungal growth and infested terror, which can't really be used to hunt down flying buildings. Alrighty then. just going back to the bases of Violet, there's little harassment going on. Usually during a push like this from a Zerg player, Terrans really like to do drops to hurt the economy of the Zerg as much as they are being hurt. But in this particular case, it seems that Bomber was dedicating all he had to staying alive, and it was only barely enough, even with his 3-2 Marine upgrades. More Ultras popping out onto the field for Violet. He's kind of forgotten about the Spire right now, but it doesn't really look like he needs Broodlords. He could transition to them eventually, but at the moment, he seemed very content to be abusing the hell out of these Ultralisks. The production of Bomber was left intact. That might have been a mistake here for Violet, because at the moment Bomber is spending all he can to reinforce his army, and Violet is going to be shaking his boots just a little bit if he gets caught in exactly the wrong position. Burrow is going to be researched now for Violet, and that will make Banelings all the more superior. Baneling landmines and such are a great asset in the Zerg arsenal. Okay, here we have the engagement. Baneling running into a little bit of the infantry. The Infestor's holding everything in place as the Ultras come up the front line. He's got his Infestors up front, tanking a little bit. He's going to have to be careful with that. Again, keeping him alive is super, super important. He doesn't quite have Burrow yet, but getting into more safety, so he's just going to stand out all the energy in the form of Infested Terran. A small group of infantry cleaning up another Ultralist. It does not look like this push is ultimately going to be a failure, but it looked close there for a second. Now the Infested Terran are coming in here to finish off the starport and factory, but the cooldown for them are going to eliminate before they can finish off this orbital, but it may burn down if an SCB can't get there in the nick of time. Of course, Violet not going to overextend himself, just camping here until he feels safe to push in again. He is about 65 supply ahead of his opponent, though, and he's sitting very, very comfortable. There was a small drop here in the fourth, but still not doing too terribly much damage. The extractors are intact, and that's really what matters. This medevac a little bit bruised, and having lost all the infantry underneath it, well, it's going to be a little threat at this point. Greater Spire on the way now, as well as 14 more drones. All these drones being converted into spine crawlers is allowing Violet to just sink his minerals into stuff that will be useful all game. When behind, make drones. When ahead, make drones. When at max supply, make spine crawlers, then make more drones. Creep spread now about at the front of his opponent's base. Violet is getting a little bit crazy here. Bomber not taking the time to scan, clean up creep, something that's really necessary in modern day TVZ. We've got 7 Corruptors on the way as this Greater Spire finishes, but Bomber, he may not be ready for the Broodlords. He's focusing a lot on Marauders and tanks. Marines are not the best thing in the world against Ultralisks by themselves, but their heavy DPS is incredible when mixed in with a DP unit like the Marauder. Now we've got a wing run by right here into a mining base of Bomber, forcing a lift off and killing a lot of SCVs. Let's take a look at the worker skill count now. 59 workers have been killed by Violet, whereas only 24 have been killed by Bomber. Bomber taking great care to keep his bases alive and as secure as they possibly could be, which is always a respectable goal. I like how Violet is doing something similar in keeping the Lings just kind of hanging out in the mineral lines of his bases. Really excited to see where this game goes as Bomber is looking a little bit strangled. Violet taking a lot of bases, and again with an incredible creep spread, it's going to make it very, very hard for Bomber to take yet another base. Now we got flying attack finishing up now for Violet. This is going to make his Brood Lords even more incredible. But what you want to know what's really incredible? There is a Nidus Worm on the way. Now let me find this bad boy, because this is not what you see every day. Okay, here's the Nidus Network at the 3rd. Now, okay, he's got these 3 Mutalisks. Oh, you devious son of a bitch. He's going to fly these Mutalisks in here or elsewhere, or the Brood Lords, they'll work too, and then bring in the Nidus. Oh my god. This is going to be the most epic thing ever. Okay, there's a push out now from Bomber, so Violet's going to have to go if he wants to go. Oh, this could be bad. Okay, I think Violet's going to leave his Infestors here for defensive purposes, keeping Fungal on hand, but he's sending the rest of his army here. Here's the Brood Lords. Ultra's coming out as well. Oh, this is going to be awesome. Okay, here are the Infestors, but he's just going to go ahead and sacrifice this 4th base, possibly even the 5th base as well. Though there is a lot more static defense there. Okay, here's the base of Bomber, and it is getting cleaned up so easily. The production of Bomber has been forced to pick up as well, and that's going to make the food supply for Bomber plummet. And as it plummets, he will not be able to replenish it until he gets those landed and some more supply depots built. So that's going to force Bomber into a situation where he has to continue this attack. Bomber cannot be held up by Spine Crawlers no matter how much damage they're doing. This push has to kill. Violet, of course, putting up the static defense as a way to stay alive and just slowly pick his opponent apart as he is continuing to destroy all of this production stuff. This is so awesome. I think at some point he's going to realize he's killed more than enough production and just go right on back to kill the army of Bomber, which will basically seal the deal, as without production, without supply, no matter how much money Bomber might have had banked or might not have had banked, well, it's pretty much going to be game over. Tanks of Bomber going back to explore just a little bit, sees the Spine Crawler and knock that down, Spore Crawler as well as the Extractor. He has already killed most of the buildings here at the 5th base as well, but he's trying not to get caught out of position, I suppose, or he's just sending these tanks in by himself to deal with Brood Lords. I'm not sure I understand. Okay, he's bringing the Marines and Marauders as well, but he's going to have to group these forces rather than just sending them in 1 or 2 at a time. This is alright, this is going to be it. Fungal growth going down on a small cluster of Marines, and well, without Bomber going ahead pushing with these Marines, Violet is free to just take over the base of Violet, or I'm sorry, of Bomber. Deal with this hatchery. Awesome stuff here by Violet. Of course, Bomber really knows how this plays out. The army of Violet is kind of trapped into this location here, so he's setting up a contain with his siege tanks in the right position. He's moving forward just a little bit and giving up the contain. He actually is more interested in taking out the drones. Okay. Alright, so interesting decisions here by Bomber, but probably the right ones in the circumstance. However, Violet is cleaning up a lot of these tanks, and with his army split up like this, Bomber is in a terrible situation. He might have had a chance had his army been clustered, but tanks getting caught off on their own like that will prove the end of this game. Ouchies, poor Bomber, poor Startail. Violet working hard for a well-earned victory here. Just going to go ahead and speed through the rest of this, as that was pretty much game-changing. Oh my god, he's cleaning up the rest of this army. Bomber has no production, no depots, no SCBs, just 900 minerals in the bank. GG. Guys, if you like this cast, or others like it, go to sc2cast.com, or check out my own personal blip, blip.tv/theonlyshaft. My stream is twitch.tv/theonlyshaft, or you could just go on to part 2. See you there, guys. Bye-bye.